We arrive at Bowed Fortress. The Dark Knights have beaten us here. On the neutral route, you're actually able to get here in time to see the Dark Knights attacking the fortress. Seria, the leader of the Liberation Front, is actually present in the battle. On the Chaos route, the Dark Knights have already done their business and have killed off most of the Liberation Front. And on this route, Seria isn't present in the battle either. And thank goodness that she isn't. I don't think we'd be able to save her on the neutral route. This is the first time we actually fight against the Dark Knights. All of their generic units look the same. The only real difference is the colour of their armour. Each colour represents a different class. Usually purple units are frontliners like Knights and Terror Knights. Red units are magic users. I think light blue are either Swordmasters or Clerics. Usually it's quite hard to tell what units they're supposed to represent, but you can just check on their inventory and skills to see what units they are. The boss of this battle is Oz. He's quite a formidable foe. We're nearly at the end of chapter 3 now, and the game is done pulling its punches. Most of the bosses from now on will be decked out with many cards. Oz comes with a physical attack up, magical attack up, a crit card, and an MP restoration card. He likes to use a lot of area of effect magic attacks. He's able to hit 5 of our units at once. He's already dealing a lot of damage to us. When we're facing off against the Dark Knights, healing salves will be our best friend. We'll definitely be burning through quite a few salves. Luckily, there's not too much more we want to buy in terms of equipment at this point. When we're in Chapter 4, we'll unlock Damask equipment, and that'll be the final tier of equipment that we buy before the end of the game. So the rest of our money can just be saved for consumable items. So far, I've not talked too much about Gildas. He's going to be quite an important unit in this run. Even in a normal run, he's one of the better units in the game, as he has access to the White Knight class. White Knights are fairly similar to regular Knights. The White Knight class doesn't have access to Phalanx, so it's not as tanky as regular Knights. It still has access to Guardian Force, so Gildas is going to be shielding our allies from damage. Velocity Shift advances the RT of units in a small area around Gildas. This also includes himself, so just by having Gildas around, he's able to make all of your other units faster, which is very important in a game like this. Turn economy is key. Having all your units take their turns much sooner is very important. We did recruit Merdin as well, but for this run we're not going to be using him. Gildas and Merdin are both pretty strong in terms of stats. The only difference is the weapon proficiency they have. Gildas comes with two-handed swords and axes trained, and Merdin has one-handed swords and spears trained. I'm going to give a slight hint to the strategy I plan on using for the final battle right now. It won't spoil too much, so see if you can guess what I'm going to use. But for the final battle, I'm only going to be using units that have bows, cudgels, hammers or axes. So because I'm limited to these, there's not many classes I can actually use in the final battle that will work with this strategy. Some people might be wondering why I'm not using more story unique characters. We recruited Hoberim and Merdin, but I don't plan on using them. Hoberim and Merdin don't have any skill in the weapons that we're going to use in the final battle, so we don't end up using them. You could train their ranks up in those weapons, and technically you would have a stronger force having unique units instead of generics, but I'm just interested in saving time, so instead of grinding for weapon ranks on them, I'm just going to use units that are already trained. Oz was a pretty scary boss, but we're able to get him down to critical HP and he retreats. The next time we see him, we won't have so much luck as we'll have to kill him outright, and as well as that, we'll also be fighting against his sister Ozma as well. Denim enters the fortress, only to find the Liberation Front defeated. Most of their units have died in the battle. Seria is still alive. Most of her forces died. She's a bit reluctant to join us, but she sees no other option. And after the battle, we recruit Seria. Just like Hoberim and Merdin, she doesn't come with skill in any of the weapons we want to use for the last battle, so we won't be using her in this run. Next up, we head to Fidok Castle to take on the Bakram and the Dark Knights. At the start of the fight, we're immediately beset by 4 golems. It's going to take quite some time to get rid of these units. Golems aren't too scary, so we opt to take on the berserkers instead, as they'll be dealing much more damage to us.
正面から攻めてくるとは愚かな。
Because there's so many golems here, I also equipped the Golem's Bane skill on Bane. I forgot to mention earlier, but somewhere in Chapter 3 we changed him from a wizard to a warlock. His class change isn't too important in this run. We don't plan on recruiting golems or using Impera Golem. Because we're only going to beat the end of the game and not do the post-game content, we're not going to be able to use any draconic magic. So him being a warlock isn't going to be too important. It is slightly useful in this battle, as we have access to Golem's Bane, but we could easily beat the fight without it.
暗黒騎士団の援軍が城から出てこないところを見ると、両軍の溝は思いのほか深刻らしいな。
The enemy does have 2 warlocks in this fight, but they don't really do much. Their AI seems to never want to move forward, so we don't have to worry about them nuking us with magic. The boss of this chapter stands atop the castle ramparts. If he had the AI that refuses to move, this map would probably be impossible in this run. But thankfully for us, he does want to come towards us. He does have to go on quite a bit of a detour to get down to our level. And then he has to run all the way across the map to us. This is fine by us though, as it gives us plenty of time to get rid of the golems first. Now that we've killed all the enemy's golems, we're just waiting for the enemy's boss to come towards us so we can kill him. So I'll skip forward and save you some time. The enemy's boss is now in range. This guy is nothing compared to previous bosses we've had to deal with in Chapter 3. He doesn't have any cards, he's not particularly strong, and he can't really take damage as he's a swordmaster, not something like a knight. Our units have built up plenty of MP by the time he arrives, so we'll just be nuking him with finishers. The boss does get one nasty hit against Gildas, but he's now in range for us to counter with Gildas as well. I don't kill the boss here with 2 of my units, as I saw that Denim was going to get his turn soon. May as well train up his hammer rank just a bit. We've arrived at the final battle of Chapter 3. We need to kill both Oz and Ozma, which is no small feat. In this battle, Denim starts ahead of the rest of our units. This might seem good because he's a mostly physical unit, so this means we don't have to push him forward. He's in a bit of a precarious spot as Oz is right next to him. On turn 1, Oz doesn't do anything. On his next turn, he moves up and attacks Denim. If he lands the hit, he'll probably do over half of Denim's HP bar. We get very lucky here, and Denim actually parries his attack. I came well prepared for this fight, so it wouldn't have mattered even if Oz had hit me, as we have Voltaire 6 tiles away from Denim with the Lobber skill. He would have been able to fling a healing salve. On Denim's first turn, he used an item to give himself 100 MP. With Denim, we could have used up some of our MP to use a finisher on Oz. Instead, I use a Brand of the Sacrifice to weaken him. The rest of our units will be buffing straight away. We'll soon be embroiled in a grueling battle against Oz and Ozma. We don't have any time to waste, we need to pair up our units as soon as possible. We also use some MP items on our other units so that they can spam finishers and kill Oz as soon as possible. On Oz's third turn, he'll move up past Denim and start attacking the rest of our forces. With his area of effect spells, the magic buff and the chance of critting, he much prefers attacking the rest of our forces instead of Denim. There's a good chance he can deal well over 1,000 damage in one attack. Denim's a bit surrounded, and I can't guarantee his safety. So we stun the enemy's cleric, and we use Evanescence. And yes, for anyone that knows about this game, yes, I really did just use Evanescence. I'm just as surprised as you. For anyone who doesn't know about this game, Evanescence is a skill that seemingly incapacitates your own unit, which would be pretty bad as we don't have anyone in range to actually res Denim. But Evanescence is a skill that pretendingly KOs your own unit. It deals okay damage in an area around the user, but the most important thing about it is that it's actually a fake KO. Your unit is just plain dead. Because of this, when Denim's counter goes down to 0, he'll actually get back up. He won't die. And while he's in this state, enemies aren't targeting him. So for this map, I decided to use this strategy. We're definitely not going to be using Evanescence anywhere else, so I thought it would be funny to use it here, just to show it off. It probably has some decent use as well, as it means that we don't have to worry about Denim. We've had him as a knight for the whole game, so he probably could have tanked damage on the front lines by himself. A bit of support with healing cells being flung by Voltaire could have helped as well, but I really just wanted to use Evanescence. I mentioned earlier that Oz is probably going to be using magic against us. We really don't want him to keep using spells against us. The amount of damage he deals with his AoE spells is just too much for us to handle. Luckily for us, Oz can be silenced. If we attack Oz with a Boulder Bow +1, we're guaranteed to silence him, as we have Eagle Eye from Aracel.
自分で言ってて辛くなってきた。悪ふざけはおやめなさい、オズ。そうやってるからボード取りで負けるのよ。なあ、それを言うか普通。俺の心はもろく崩れやすいんだぜ、姉さん。
Now that he's been silenced, he's going to be using finishes instead, but we much prefer this instead of his magic attacks. Because we used a Brand of the Sacrifice with Denim before, his physical attacks also don't deal a whole lot of damage to us. because we silenced him, this cleric also decides to cleanse the silence instead of healing him. He's already down to about half of his HP. If we don't kill him now, there's a good chance that the enemy's cleric will be able to heal him for most of his HP. We've nearly killed Oz, but Ozma is right behind him. Unfortunately for us, she can't be silenced. After taking a nap for a few turns, Denim gets back up. He immediately stuns this Hydra. Oz's silence was cleansed. We use Sistina to silence him once again, just so he doesn't nuke our whole army. This stun we inflicted on this Hydra pays off, as the Hydra ends up wasting its turn. When I was recording this video, I tried to silence Ozma with Canopus here, but at the time I didn't know she had this silence proof skill. It just goes to show that it's worth checking enemy skills. I don't think Canopus could have done a whole lot here, to be fair, as Oz is in minimum range, so we wouldn't have been able to hit him with the finisher. here I was trying to decide which unit I should charm. I ended up going with the Knight as he has 2 physical attack up cards. On Sistina's turn, we're able to kill Oz. We bash his face in with a shield.
あれ姉さん僕の姉さん助けて
すまぬオズ。すぐに私も行くから待っていろよ。だが道連れは多いほどいい。
Now all that's left is to get rid of Ozma as well. With any of our units that can't deal significant damage to Ozma, we'll be having them attack the cleric instead. We have Denim equip a Caldia here. Ninjas don't have access to many hammers, but they do have access to Caldias. Caldias are able to use the charm spell once, and we get really lucky here, and we actually charm the Hydra. Guardian Force is doing wonders in this fight. Both Gildas and Falkert are doing an amazing job of saving our other units from dying. Ozma is one of the fastest units in the game, so she'll be frequently taking double turns against some of our units. Because Gildas keeps getting velocity shift, we're able to keep up with Ozma's insane speed. Ozma lands a devastating blow, and Gildas goes down. She's incredibly dangerous with her magic. Having a magic card and a crit card right off the go is really something else. In the low rate version of this fight, you fight against Oz and Baltaphon instead. From my personal experience, I'm inclined to believe that the low rate version of this fight is slightly harder, but Ozma is no joke either. In the neutral rate of this fight, you only fight against Ozma, as Oz is already dead at this point. So if you're on the neutral route, this fight is actually much easier. Ozma almost kills Bayan, but he gets his turn and gets his revenge. And with that, one of the hardest fights in this game has been beaten without moving. After the battle, we get a cutscene. The traitorous Vice has been captured by the Bakram, and he's getting a taste of his own medicine as he's being put to death. You can recruit Vice on the Law route, but on the Neutral and Chaos routes, he dies. He kind of deserves it though, because he's a bit of an asshole, so rip Bozo.
報告いたします。
なんだ。
ブリガンテス城の兵士らが人質を取り、城内に立てこもったとのこと。
We now arrive in Chapter 4.
彼らの要求は
Denham initially plans on going straight towards the capital and taking on Branton and the Dark Knights. We get a report that the knights holding Brigantis Castle have taken hostages and are demanding that we surrender to the Bakram to put an end to this war.
兵士の中にいるのだろう。
王女の出現以来、奴らの勢力は日増しに広がっていますからな。
仕方ないことだ。姉さん、王女の出現はこの戦乱に疲れた人々にとって。
The warriors holding the castle are members of the Order of Filaha, a devout religious group.
王がそうしたように民族融和のスローガンを掲げ戦争放棄を訴えるのは当然のことだよ。
ではいかがされるおつもりで。
力で対抗したのでは摂政と同じ。教団の指導者に会いに行く。
まさかおやめください。万が一のことがあっては。
Denham plans on meeting them to speak to them to hopefully end things peacefully.
しかも丸腰で行けば大丈夫。きっと話を聞いてくれるさ。
この時を待っていたぞ。ゴリアテのデニム。今こそゲイカのガルガスタン軍の恨みを晴らしてくれるわ。
On our way to Brigantis Castle, we're stopped by a group of Galgastani remnants. The enemy's boss comes equipped with 4 cards in this battle, but that's about the only thing that's interesting in this fight. This is another one of those fights where we're just waiting for the enemy's boss to get in range before we snipe him. He does come equipped with a magic attack up card, 1 skill activation card and 2 MP restoration cards. But aside from that, this is not really an interesting fight, so I can't think of too much else I need to say for this fight.
デニムめ口押しやあっ
Before we left Viaduct Castle, Denim mentioned that we should try to deal with this peacefully. He explained that if we go to the front gate, unarmed and by ourselves, the Order of Palaha should talk to us.
待て、このお方はゴリアテのデニム様だ。なんだと。
If you go to the northern gate, the enemies will always attack you, as they think you are trying to sneak into the castle from behind. If you send Denim alone to the main gate, which is the southern entrance, and you have him unequipped, you won't have to do a fight here.
デニム様は嘘を言うようなお方ではない。てめえ、まだ解放軍に忠誠を誓うっていうのか。聞き捨てならん。 この私まで疑うのか。
おやめなさい。二人とも剣を収めなさい。
We can't initially convince the guards to let us in,
あなたも
but a cleric of the order convinces them to lay down their arms.
失礼いたしました。私は教団の僧侶でオリビアと申します。
This is Olivia.
教団の
You might have guessed from her appearance, but she's a sister of Sistina and Seria.
フランシー、どういうことだ。
はい、ご推察通り、あなたのお父上です。急ぎましょう。あまり時間がありません。
それはどういう意味だ。
デニムさん、あなたのお父上は天に召されようとしています。ハイムの死人の谷で
Denim learns that his father is inside the castle.
自力で立ち上がることすらできない状態でした。
死人の谷。
不治の病や合病に侵された人々を収容した小さな洞窟のことです。
Sadly, Denim's father is on death's door.
いろいろと手を尽くしたのですが、
The Black Knights were able to capture him
一方で
from Boed Fortress.
暗黒騎士団か。
拷問だけでなく大陸の飛躍を用いて情報を引き出そうとしたようです。
父さん。
さあ、行きましょう。
父さん、僕だよ。デニムだよ。
デニムか。よく来てくれたな。チカ。お前に話さねばならぬことがある。
そんな。なら、僕は一体。
Denim's father has only just passed away, but he learns yet another shocking truth.
受け入れなければならない。
It turns out that Denim is not actually a Wallister. He was born a Bakram.
あなたが目指している世界は民族や家柄なんかで差別されるような世界じゃないはずよ。あなたがバクラム人であったとしても築こうとしている世界はあなたの理想と同じはず。それともグランタのようにバクラム人だけが安住できる国を作るつもりなの？お父上の言葉を思い出して。
君の言う通りだ、オリビア。僕が何人であ
His father only just died, and he doesn't have time to mourn.
肌の色や生まれではなく、人として
Except that's not true. It also turns out that his last name isn't Pavel, it's Morn.
よかった。
And it also turns out that he's the nephew of Brantin Morn, the leader of the Bakram. Olivia encourages Denim to be strong.
セリエ姉さん、システィーナ姉さん、二人ともご無事で何よりです。
The three sisters reunite.
どうしてブリガンテスに？父上はどうされた？
父上はここにはおりません。どこに行ったのかもわからないのです。
どういうことなの？
姉さんたちが教団から去っていったことに責任を感じていたようです。塞ぎ込むことが多くなり、心ここにあらずといったご様子に。ライムへ暗黒騎士団が侵攻した晩に外出されたままお戻りになっていないのです。
セリエ姉さん、何か心当たりはないの？そうだな。おそらくバンハムーバの神殿だろう。あそこはイシュタルを祀った光の神殿。若い頃の父上はあの神殿で修行したと聞いて。
We seek the aid of Maruva.
教団を捨てるということは信仰。
Seria thinks she knows where he may be,
迷いがあるならきっとあの神殿。
so we go to seek his assistance.
父上はそこにおいでなのですね。
おそらくね。
よし、バンハムーバの神殿へ急ごう。
シェリー姉さんはどこですか？
そうか、君たちは4人姉妹だったんだっけ？
姉さん。
シェリーは私たちを裏切ってブランタの手先となった。
どうしてシェリー姉さんが？嘘でしょ？
We also learn that there's a fourth sister, Sherry,
教団を離れた後、
and it turns out that she's actually working with the Bakram against us.
今じゃブランタの片腕よ。
そんなことって。
貴様はゴリアテのデニム。どうしてここに？
それはこっちのセリフだ。
On our way to talk to Maruva, we encounter the Bakram.
理由を知りたければこの俺を倒すんだな。
In this battle, we have some streams of lava flowing through the middle of the map. The enemy has a fire dragon that can walk on lava. Most of the enemies in this fight aren't too scary. The same can't be said about the boss of this chapter. The enemy's boss has 2 MP restoration cards, a skill activation card, and a magic attack up card. This would already be fairly scary for us, but he has the engulf skill. He's going to be able to snipe our units with area of effect magic from halfway across the map, and our units can't even retaliate. While we're waiting for the enemy's boss to get in range, we just need to clean up these units. I did say earlier that the enemy's generic units aren't that threatening, but we really don't want to deal with both of them and the enemy's boss at the same time. The enemy's boss is already going to be dealing a lot of damage with huge AoE attacks, so we want to clean up these generic units as soon as possible. Things are looking pretty bad at this point. A couple of our units have been KO'd. We do have blessing stones to bring them back, but we have a limited supply. We've gotten rid of most of the enemy's units, but we still haven't made much progress on killing the boss. Many of our units just can't seem to reach him. We have encountered a bit of a problem in this fight. The enemy's boss, having such a large range with his magic attacks, prefers to hang around in the middle of the map. He doesn't seem to move up much further than where he is at the moment. This is going to mean that most of our units can't even attack him. We do see that Canopus is about to get his turn, but he too can't reach the boss. We're able to res Voltaire before he dies, and he's just in range to throw a Dynast King's Mead at the boss. This is all well and good, but most of our units can't even hit him, so at this point the breach isn't going to be too useful. Being a warlock, Bane has access to the extend skill, so he's actually able to hit the enemy's boss. Our dragon can't do a whole lot of damage, but he can still reach the enemy boss with a lobbed boulder. Canopus is able to get enough MP to use a finisher. His regular bow attacks didn't quite reach the boss, but with a finisher he's able to take him out.
貴様の狙いもモルーバか。だったら無駄足だな。今頃我々の仲間がモルーバを捕らえたことだろう。
白を切っても
The enemy of this next battle is Sherry, Maruva's own daughter. This fight is much easier than the previous one. We have a significant advantage with terrain in this one, as our units start at the top of this map. We have a huge height difference over our enemies, so our archers will be able to shoot much further. For this fight, you really just want to go for Sherry. She's another squishy magic unit, so you can easily rush her down. There's not much point in killing the generic units unless you're really far behind on experience points. They don't drop anything of note. Earlier in the run, I mentioned how devastating ninjas can be because of their multi-hit magic attacks. This ninja was able to pick up a crit card. He was able to land 3 crits in a row and dealt over 450 damage to Denim. Most units aren't even going to be able to scratch Denim, being a knight, but this ninja was able to completely chunk his HP bar down. We really need Sherry to move forward so our archers can take her out. Preferably she'll move up sooner than later, as this ninja is really scary and we don't want to deal with him for much longer. Sherry's finally moved up, and our archers are ready to take her out. Our archers are also able to get their turns shortly after she moves up as well, which worked out nicely. In this fight, you can kill Sherry by reducing her HP to 0, but you don't want to do that. Instead, if it's possible, you want to bring her down to critical HP. Here, Canopus was able to bring her down to just 2 HP. That worked out really well with the damage numbers. If she's put into critical HP, she'll retreat from the battle instead of dying.
そうか。フランシーは神に召されたか。
お願いです。どうか。
After the fight, we speak with Maruva, and we have a dialogue option. You can decide to say that you wish to fight Kachua, or you say that you don't believe you can fight her. If you say that you can't fight Kachua, she will appear in a battle later on.
二度と枢機卿や公爵のようなものを出さぬためにも争いの道具として利用される要因をなくさねばかつてドルガルワ王陛下がそうしたよう
If
に
you say that you think you can fight her, she won't be present in that battle.
団結しなければ
亡き陛下のようにはなれんよ。民が望んでやまぬバレリアの救世主が暗黒騎士団の手の内にある限りはな。
姉さん。
ベルサリア王女と、いや、姉のカチアと戦うことができるのか？お前に。
So, because we don't want to fight Kachua in the battle later on, we tell Maruva that we think we can wage war upon her.
大義のためならば鬼になりましょう。
そうか。修羅の道を選ぶか。
もちろん最後まで望みを捨てたりはしません。姉さんを救えるのは僕だけですから。
Maruva respects our decision and joins us.
その勇気が少しでもあれば、シェリーを救う。
Now, he's not a unit we can deploy in battle like others, but he's more of an advisor. Because we're kind of skipping through cutscenes, you won't see him too much, but he's a fairly important character in the story.